YouTube, hi, how you going? It's Iski here, and welcome to part 3 of Ant's Super Cinema build. So what did we do in part 2? Part 2, we did all these soffits, all this beautiful framework that you see around the perimeter of the cinema. That's for yeah, they're your soffits. It's like a boxing that runs around the edge of your cinema. You don't have to have it, but I like it. I think it gives more of a dedicated home cinema feel and an elegance that's yeah, kind of hard to beat really. But I've got the space and I've always wanted to do it, so that's what I've done. We've done what we've done here. We've done it with timbers and, you know, stuff that I just picked up off the ground at the dump. I think I spent so far $40 on this, and there you go. How cool is that? So thanks to all of those guys that throw this stuff out. Appreciate your business. So let's go. Let's start video 3. What are we going to do in this video? Well, we're going to be doing the soffit still. We're going to be doing the front of the soffit, which requires a curve. I'll stick up some photos of some of these beautiful cinemas that I've seen that's inspired me to go this route. They have these beautiful curves. You don't have to have curves. You can just leave it like that if you want. But I want the curve. I've wanted it for 20 years since I saw my first cinema with a starfield ceiling, and I'm having a starfield ceiling as well. So, oh man, that's going to suck. That's like 24 square meters. But it'll be good. It'll be good. Stay tuned. So, how are we going to do this curve? I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not sure. I've got some ideas. I've got a couple of ideas, and I'll tell you those ideas now. But largely, I think I'm going to be like making this up as I go along. And those ideas, idea 1, I'm going to be doing it as a separate piece. I'm going to make the curve separately. I'm going to make it on the floor down here on the carpet, and then when it's done, I'm going to lift it up and batten screw it into place. So I'm pretty sure that's how I'm going to do it, but there's a lot of other factors that you have to take into consideration when doing this curve, I guess, stuff that I'm just trying to work out now. And I think, like I said, it's going to be working it out on the go. Okay, so the second thing that I know that I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a template, basically, yeah, a pattern. It has to be a 4-meter long pattern, because that is basically between that side of the soffit and that side of the soffit over there. It's like 3.9 meters. It's pretty long, so I need to find a 4-meter long piece of cardboard and make myself a template. And you might be wondering, where do you get a 4-meter long piece of cardboard? Well, I'll show you. Come with me. Some of you guys might know that I make these beautiful steel-boned corsets for a living. I make those. I send them all around the world within Australia. I also make medieval style bridal wear and formal wear and all of that kind of alternate fashions as well. Now, to do that, I basically design all of that stuff. I make the patterns, and any good, you know, fashion designer, pattern maker, they should all have their own roll of pattern card. So that's what we're going to use to make our template. That's a 50-meter bolt there. So we'll roll out 4 meters of that, and we will make our pattern for our curve. So how do you get the curve? That's the thing that I really, I was kind of struggling with, and this is what I've come up with. This is how I'm going to do it. Listen, I'm simply going to go to Google. I'm going to Google some, plans, some images for home cinemas. I'm going to find like the plan elevation for the soffits, and I am going to crop that, take it into Photoshop, scale it up, and then transfer those measurements over to my, pattern card, draw it out, cut it out, and that'll be it. Now, how it sounds easy. I'm pretty sure it's going to be easy enough, but there's a lot of other things that you have to take into consideration, I guess, when you are doing these soffits. Like, how far out do you make the curve? Where does the curve stop? You know, you don't want it coming out too far. You don't want too much surface area. Otherwise, you might get, you know, too much light bouncing off the screen onto the soffits and then back into the screen and washing it out. That happens. Sounds stupid, but it actually happens. So you don't want it coming out too far. Honestly, I think I'm going to have mine coming out to, say, between these two joists, maybe a little bit shorter. But you have to realise that my screen is actually going to be all the way back here. That's basically where the screen's going to be. That's part of it. So I'd say that's a good, oh, what would that be? Maybe, I don't know, we'll work it out later. But that's the kind of things you have to think about. You have to work out where the curve is going to stop. And I guess by doing that template, we are effectively going to be able to slide that template in that way and out again, and basically position it, you know, where you want it to be positioned. I'll actually sit on my seats with the template up in the air where I want it to sit. I'll sit on the back row of my, you know, I'll just walk around. I'll get a feel for it. I'll work out exactly where I want that curve, where the good, you know, exactly where I want it to go. And that's how I'm going to do it. So yeah, wish me luck. But I guess the last thing I should say is, let me just pick up this spirit level. Now, if we look at this, you can actually see there's two pieces of framing pine here. Now, this outer edge here, that's actually connected to the edges of the soffits, what we did in part 2, so that's fixed. But this one here, the inside one, that's actually something that I've cut to size already, and it's just being held up there by those clamps. So that is basically, we've started the curve. That's the back of the curve. That is the back of the curve. So the curve's going to be pretty easy. I'm thinking it's just going to be a front curve piece. It's going to be that back solid piece. And there's just going to be a series of noggins in between holding those two pieces together. So what I need to do now is actually mark out on that bit of timber up there where I want those noggins. Because what you don't want, let me just grab this spirit level again, what we don't want is for the noggins to be anywhere near these, you know, fairing channels where the ceiling gets screwed to. We want to put them basically in the center of each one of those, because eventually I think what will happen is we'll put some vertical pieces from the floor or between the joists, and that will actually hold the curve up and make it nice and strong and not prone to sagging, because we don't want it to sag over time. So I think that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do right now. So I'll do that. I'll come back to you. We'll go in. I'll show you on the computer how I'm going to scale up my curve and transfer those measurements across. So let's do it, and let's do it now. Alrighty, so there you go. You can see what I've done there. I've marked on that back framing part of the curve, vertical lined, that dead center of these fairing channels, you know, where the ceiling gets attached to. So they're dead center of each fairing channel. And then what I've done is I've just got my tape measure and marked from that side to the first one, which is 230 mil. The next one is 572 mil. The next one after that is 898 mil, etc., etc. So I think that's what I'm going to actually do now. Is I am going to come down here. You can see on the floor I've got us some paper. I am just going to quickly draw us a mud map. Now I know there's 11 noggins on that curve that we want to make, so this is going to be the side piece. This is that back bit of framing that we just looked at. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we have the other side. So basically there'll be a front curve to that, and what we want to find out now are the lengths of these noggins. But first of all, what I'm going to do is just look up there at the measurements that I took, and I'll write at the first one, so that was 230. The next one, what was it? 572. Then 898. 898. Then 1221. 1562. And last but not least is 1886. 1886. So what we want to do now is go find us a nice soffit curve on the Google, and yeah, we'll blow it up, we'll scale it up, and then we will measure the lengths of each one of these noggins, and we will mark all of that on our template piece of cardboard. And once we've done that, we will actually fold it over at this center point, and we will get a mirror image on this side. So this side will be exactly the same as that side. So that's what I'm thinking. That's the only way I can think at the moment to do this, but I think that's okay. That'll do. But yeah, let's go in and find ourselves a soffit curve. Okay, here we go. So we're in front of the computer. So I'll show you what I've done. Is I've just basically Googled soffit home theatre plans. So if I just set you there, you get all of these, you know, awesome pictures of home cinemas. Really depressing photos, because you always end up getting depressed when you look at other people's amazing home cinemas. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So what I will do now is I'm just going to look for, you know, the plans, home theatre plans, like this one here and this one up here. So we're looking down, and this is the one that I've decided to go with. Here we go. Can you see that one there? I like the curve, and I like the way it's going all the way out to the edge. So what I will do, I'll just quickly click on that, bring it up there, and yeah, I've actually saved this to my computer, and I've already opened it up in Photoshop. So let's go to Photoshop. There we go. It's a small JPEG though, so what we might do is actually fit to screen, blow that up a bit. There we go. So I think the easiest thing to do is actually crop it, crop the actual curve that we want. So let's actually start there from the back of the there. We'll bring this one in here. We'll bring this down to the inside edge, and this one here to the inside edge as well. Double click that, And there we go. We have our soffit curve. Now, what I want to do is I want to blow that up. I want to make that the exact length that we need it to be, which is 3788 mil. So I thought it was 3.9 meters, but it's actually more like 3.8 meters. So if I come up here and if I go to, I think I'm going to go to image. Let's try image size. How does that sound? Oh, there we go. And that brings up some dimensions. So let's set this centimeters to millimeters. Let's change that height to, what did I say? 3788. And that keeps everything to scale. We hit OK. And there you go, it's blown out, it's huge. So what I'm going to do now is actually come down to our magnifying glass and hit fit to screen. There we go. So that's our curve. It is the measurements that we want, but it's actually been reduced so it fits onto the screen. But what I also think might be easier is if we actually rotate that. So I'm actually going to come up to, I'm not sure how to do it. There we go. Go to image rotate, and I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees clockwise. There we go. Awesome. Now, if you have noticed, you can see around the sides here, down the side and along there, they're called rulers. So I have my rulers already set up. So what I want to do now is, so that's 0 there, that's 0, and if we bring it down, that basically lines up with the side. So what I want to do now is go to my piece of paper. What was the first one? 230. So I'm going to pull a ruler out here to 230. 200. There we go. 21. Be nice if you could actually type it in. So 22.97 centimeters. Does that sound close enough? I think that sounds close enough to me. Yeah, so that's good enough. 0.3 of a millimeter out, is that how it works? I don't know, I'm not that great at maths. Now the next one is 572, so we drag that out to, in fact what we should do is change this. Can you change the rulers to millimeters? You probably could. Let's finish this one first. What is it? 572, which would be 57.2. There we go, 57.28, that's close enough. And then we will do the next one. Actually, first of all, let's see if I can change this ruler. How do you, oh, here we go. You right click in the ruler and you can change it to millimeters. There we go. So I am just going to double check I've done that right. Let's move that, 570. 2.8. That'll do. Okay, the next one we are going to do has to be 898. You can see on my screen 800. $97. Does that sound close enough? I'll get that a bit better. There we go. Hang on. Hard to do it when you're holding the camera. 800 and 897 is close enough. And the next one is, if we point you back to the screen, the next one is 1221. There we go, 1221.2. That sounds good to me. Let me just double check that. Okay, and the next one is 1562. 1569, 1561.7. Does that sound close enough? I reckon that's close enough. And 1886. All right, so there you go. So we have our measurements that we've taken in the cinema so far. So what we want to do is basically, if you can, I don't know if you can see my pointer, we want to measure the distance between this point here and this point there and write it down. In fact, how am I going to do this? Because I'm pretty sure that this is actually, mine is 35 mil. And that is 90 mil wide. I need 35. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Now what I had to do is, you could see this back piece here. I actually had to make that the same width as the back piece of mine. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I had to. Yes, I had to do that. I had to actually make that the same width as my back piece. Otherwise, if I was to drag the ruler from the back piece of what they had to there, it would actually be out. It won't be the same. I know that's all difficult to understand. I probably won't even put this in the video, but that's what I had to do. So basically, where's something to point to? So this back piece of framing here is now 35 mil, where before it was actually 90 mil. So I've made that 35 mil basically because the ruler was going to start back at the 90 point, and that would have thrown our measurements off. So now, and I've cropped it, so I've cropped that so that this is now 35 mil. So now what I can do is come up here, drag down a ruler, and basically intersect it with that front part there, right on the line where that curve intersects that first blue noggin. And what was that? I didn't even write that down. Does it actually tell you what that measurement is? God, that's stupid. I'll have to do it again. Cancel. Okay. Let me start that part again. So I am going to, in fact, there we go. So where that intersects, can you see where that intersects that first noggin? It says 240, so that's 240 mil. Basically, that first noggin, this one here, is going to be 240 mil. So I am actually going to write that down on here, so we can scribble that 230 out and write 240 long, because that 230 was actually supposed to go that way. Alright, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'll just do one more for you. So I'm going to come up here, grab ourselves another ruler, bring it down till it intersects that front outer edge. And what do we got? Let's call that 356, shall we? So I'm just going to come down here. I don't know why I wrote these along here, but let's write that. What did I say it was? 356. Oops, sorry about that. My dad just came over to borrow a mower wheel. So what are we up to? We got 1, 2. We need to do the third one. I'll do another one with you because I got distracted. So I'm just going to pull down another ruler. We'll go to our third noggin, which is that one there, and we'll have a look at the measurement. It says 437. Hang on a second. Let's go for 42. So 442. I can't see me putting any of this on my video anyway. It's a little bit confusing and time consuming. I'll just speed time lapse this and do it that way. So we'll do the next one, which is drag this down to that point there, and we got 501.7. Okay, 502. 502, and should be two more. One more. Here we go. Let's do another one. We got 539.5. And the last one is got to be exactly the same. It's got to be the same. 542.2. Okay, that looks good to me. I know, it's stupid. I'm sorry, this is the best I can do, but this is how I'm doing it. It's really kind of awkward trying to film this, but what we have here is, now I've got my piece of paper, I've got all my noggin lengths. So what I will do is actually transfer those lengths over to a piece of paper, draw a curve that intersects those lengths, and then we will try to build our frame around that. Just show you guys, this is how I have done this. I've actually found myself a soffit. I found some plans on, let me see, let's go, here we go, this is it. I went to, Google, and I found this image. I just typed in soffit home theatre plans. I came up, this is the one that I like, it's got a nice curve on the soffit there. I saved the image, I took it into Photoshop. If we open up Photoshop, I cropped that image, I spun it around, and I blew it up to be exactly the same size that I needed, which was, what did I say, about 3.8, 3.9 meters lengthwise, so from here to this end here. So that is actually, I changed it to millimeters, and then what I did was, you can kind of see, I actually was dragging these rulers. They're called rulers, and you kind of pick them up from the side and you can pull them over and you can drop them. You can actually see the measurement. It says 2.3 I needed, I think the first one was, and I just dumped it there. I dropped it, and that's how I did that, and I got there basically the noggin lengths. And then what I did was I came up, grabbed the ruler from this end this time, pulled it down, and I looked at where the noggin intersects. You can see where the noggin intersects the curve there, the front of the curve, and I dropped it, and you can see there the first one was 240 mil, and I did that for the next one here and the next one here, and I just wrote those measurements down. So basically now I know what my measurements are from, the back here of the framing pine. It's actually from the back of the framing pine to the front of the curve. So yeah, it's a bit confusing, but that's the way I've done it. I'm going to go now and roll out some, oh shush up computer, I'm going to go and roll out some card and see if we can transfer these across. Okay. Alright, so let's grab some card. This is really heavy. Oh. I've got a bit of Velcro holding this together. This is huge. Like, I've done some big jobs using this card. It's come in handy quite a few times, but I don't think I've ever done anything that is almost 4 meters long. So there we go. Oh, actually, before I unroll this, what I might do is grab that piece of timber from the top there, because basically we are going to need that, and we want to weigh this cardboard down and stop it from curling as well. So it'll serve a couple of purposes. Probably can't see anything that I'm doing either, can you? All right, let's angle you up. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I've just taken off the clamps from that bit of timber on both ends, and now I'm just going to pull this one off. Check this out. I was going to go no hands, but I'm not now. I thought it was nicely jammed in there, but it's... All right. We'll pull that down now because it's going to be too difficult to get to once the cardboard is rolled out in front of it. Okay, where's my tape measure? Oh, I've got about 6 tape measures, and do you think I can ever find one when I need one? Here's one. All right, so I've marked my front piece. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't actually take that measurement off the Photoshop of the side where it actually intersects with the side. So I'm quickly going to go and find out what that was. Okay, so I have my measurement where it intersects the side, and that is 150. So I'll just quickly write that down. I'll just move this, and I will measure 150. Okay, so we got the first mark. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be interesting. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to start this in a little bit so I've got some room to play with on this end here. So let's maybe give us an extra 100. So let's actually mark 100 here. All right, it's right there. All right, now I'm probably going to stop explaining what I'm going to be doing. Well, listen, I'll still explain, but I'm probably not going to put this in the video because it's just too it's just too difficult to kind of portray what I'm doing. But the first one, like I said, was 150. Let's measure that as 150. Okay, so that's our side piece. Now we have to move over to the first noggin now, which was, it's written on here, oh, it's 230, and it's actually just drawn on there. So let's just get our square. And take it down there. So that's where our noggin's going to be, the very first noggin. And what did we say it was? It was 240 mil. 240 mil. Next one. You guys see what I'm doing? Okay, noggin number 2. Now, what did I say that was? 356. And can we see a curve happening? Yeah, I think so. All right, next one. And what is that one going to be? 442. And the last one, which is the center point, is this one here. Let's go, and that was 542. So it's literally, it should be only a couple of mil higher than the ones next to it, because that should be almost straight. So sounds good to me. 542. Now if I stand up, can I see? Does that look good? Yeah, when I look down on it, it looks like they're all going to kind of work out to be a nice curve. So if we come and have a look now, we've got our first one on the side. It gradually gets curvier, larger, until we come up the top here, and these last ones are almost in line with each other, only a couple of mil separating those. So now I think we need to get ourselves a really big flexi curve. You remember flexi curves? When I was a kid, in the whole TD, what was that, technical drawing, you used to have this kind of flexible curve thing, and you used to be able to bend it and draw your curves on your architectural drawings or drafting. But they don't make them that big. So what are we going to use? Well, I am thinking maybe we can use a bit of electrical conduit. I don't know, we'll see. I'll go and see what I got and I'll come back. Okay, I'll show you what I've got to make our curve. I raced out and I grabbed a piece of electrical conduit that I had outside, and that is just way too thick and heavy duty. So then I found this piece of aluminium that's got a nice flex to it. We probably might use that. Then I found this long piece of, I don't know, what is it, quarter round something or other, and yeah, that's got a nice flex to it. Then I found this ruler and I thought, oh, you're kidding. So that's got a lot of flex. So I'm just going to work out which one to use, and I am going to try to marry up these dots and have a nice round edge to it. All right, it's kind of difficult to explain, but I think you guys can work out what I'm going to do. I've got my giant flexi curve. Let's see how I go as far as marrying these points up. That looks pretty good. 4 more to do. Is it that easy? Can it be that easy? All right, we'll find out. I'll start there. It really starts to marry off now to a straight line. I planned on getting a brick to hold these end bits. That looks pretty good. Are you guys seeing anything that I'm doing? Probably not. Let's do the last one. Oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And I like the curve, it looks good. So this one is only like a 2mm difference really in between the... There we go. I like it instantly. That's always a good sign, let me show you. Sorry it's so dark in here, it's quite difficult to see. But as you can see, that's the end, that's the side where it hits the soffit. And we have what looks like quite a nice curve. It stops there, but what we'll do is actually use that as a fold line, fold it in half, and just, you know, mirror image the other side. But I'm really stoked with that. I'm happy. I'm just going to look at it for a little while longer. I'm looking at it from this angle. I know you guys can't really see it. I should have done it in pen, but I wanted to correct mistakes. But yeah, from what I can see it quite well, and it looks quite nice. I like it. I do like it. So that's the main thing. So I'm just going to stare at it for a little while longer. I won't keep you guys here watching. I'm just going to make sure I like that curve, and then I'll start cutting it out, and we'll hopefully stick it up the top there. But yeah, let me just stare at it for a while and make sure I'm happy with it. Oh, there we go, guys. Finished. We have our front curved soffit template. And I like it. I really do. I like it. It's a beautiful curve. It's my curve. So I've been staring at it for a while now, and I have to say I'm happy with it. So now what I'm going to do is go grab a bite to eat. I'm going to sit down in one of these red chairs and stare at my ceiling and try to work out exactly how I'm going to attach this up there, and so that it's not flopping around, so we can kind of slide it in and out, and determine that front edge, how far out into the cinema it's going to sit. So let me go and do that, and I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Finally, we're finished. We're all done. Our soffit template has been made, and it's looking really good. It looks so much better now that I've got that curl out of the edge. It's sitting nice and flat on the carpet, thanks to a bit of corset technology. You saw me actually taping those white rods down. This is them here. They're actually spring steel boning out of the back of a corset. So they're designed to basically flex that way only and always bounce back. So that's keeping that curve out of there and doing a mighty fine job. So I think now all's left to do is we're going to lift this up and see how it looks.